What's up, everybody? Come on through. Hello, hello. Hello, everyone. Welcome in. Let's start our timer, shall we? Yes, yes, yes. What's up? I'm in rainy but beautiful St. Louis, Missouri. It's cool. It's rainy. Let me know where you are in the world. What's up, Vincent? Good morning, Colleen. Good to see you. We're going to start our practice session here in 4 minutes and 33 seconds. We're going live today, kind of on a special occasion. We're about to begin a brand new feature in Open Studio Pro. If you don't know, Open Studio Pro is all of our live classes on Zoom 4 times a day. And we're starting a new season. We're going to be doing these seasons quarterly. So in 3 months, we're going to be covering a lot of aspects on playing the blues in your jazz piano playing. And that starts on Monday. So you don't want to miss that. We're introducing seasons, and fall 24 is the blues. So come through. We're going to work on 6 amazing blues songs. Boca Raton is in the house. What's up, Wendy? Serbia's here. Madrid is here. Boston is here. Yes, set fire to the rain. It's a pretty basic thing we're working on. Israel's in the house. Guitar is in hand. Go ahead and smash that like button too to spread the word. We'll get going here in about 3 minutes or so. What's up, Liam? Come on in, everybody. Working on just a basic blues form practice. All of the conventional forms of blues. There is a PDF, so you're going to want to download that. Check that out in the description. And also check out in the description a link to apply for Open Studio Pro and get started on the Fall 24 blues season with us. We start on Monday. We're working on Tenor Madness. We're working on Blues for Alice. We're working on Footprints. We're working on so much. Burke's Works, Bird Like, Bags Groove. We're working on all of it. Let me know where you are. Milwaukee's in the house. Norway's in the house. India's in the house. Munich is in the house. BC is in the house. Again, smash that like button. Help spread the word. What's up? Grateful to see you, Juan. Thank you for being here. Argentina's here. Mexico. Cool, cool, cool. London. Texas. Osaka. Osaka has my heart and my stomach. Tampa, Florida's in the house. Hurricane Helene, no power, flooding, can't play, but I'm here. Be careful, Monty. Stay safe, please. Croatia's here. Denmark. If you've never been to America or Florida specifically, the hurricanes are not, it's not a joke. It's not to be messed around with. Good luck, buddy. All right, all right. Again, we are here with a very simple practice. We are celebrating the launch of our new feature on Open Studio Pro called Seasons. Our first season is all about the blues. We're going to be focusing on the blues for October, November, and December, all different kinds. We're focusing on 6 tunes specifically: Bags Groove, Burke's Works, Tenor Madness, Blues for Alice, Bird Like from Freddie Hubbard, and Footprints from Wayne Shorter. All of them are classic blues forms in the jazz medium. And so don't delay. You can go check that out in the description, and you can apply to join Open Studio Pro. We practice 4 times a day. You don't have to practice 4 times a day, but we're practicing 4 classes a day live on Zoom, all on these subjects from some very good teachers, except for myself. I'm the weak link, but everybody else is incredible. So you can go over and check that out. I'll kind of break down the schedule here in a minute. But we're celebrating today because we're very excited about this launch. And we're going to do a little bit of a subbing workshop here on the blues. Very simple workshop is what we're doing. Minneapolis is in the house. Slovakia, what's up, Igor? Sao Paulo, what's up, Tiago? Cool. All right, come on in, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Before we get going, a couple things. There's a PDF here. You can download that PDF in the description, and that's going to be yours to take with you for free. It's all these 5 different conventions on the blues. And those conventions are the basic 12-bar blues. We'll start with just the basic version. The straight-ahead version, this is any version that you might find at your local jam session. You go, everybody's probably playing some kind of version of this version, right? This is like the starting point for many, many jazz musicians. The tritone sub version, which is like an alteration on the straight ahead. It's a couple of little tweaks here that can make you sound crisp and fresh and like you know what you're doing, which we all want to sound like. The bird blues, which is more specific but also more fun in my opinion, an incredible form of the blues. And the sus blues, which has a bit more of an angular sound, a bit more of a modern sound, broad stroke brushes, and sounds like Chick Corea. Now he sings, now he sobs, Brad Meldo, that kind of thing. So that's what we're going to be working on. That's sort of the order. Now, as I mentioned, we are here celebrating the new season of Open Studio Pro. And I don't know if you know this, but here at Open Studio, of course, we have our great YouTube channel, which we love doing, but we also have courses that we've made for years, where you can go to openstudiojazz.com. You can become a member for a very reasonable amount of money and get access to all of our courses, everything I've ever made, Peter Martin's ever made. We've got courses from Jeffrey Keyser, from Fred Hirsch, from Christian McBride, from Ron Carter. We've got an incredible array of recorded courses. Then a few years ago, we started something called Open Studio Pro, which gives you access to all of those courses, but also gives you access to multiple live classes every day where you're on a Zoom with an instructor. You get direct feedback from your questions. There are opportunities to play for me personally on Feedback Friday, every Friday, where you can play and get some coaching. And we do that 4 times a day at this point. And I just want to show you, I know a lot of people don't even know about this, so kind of wanted to hip you to it here today, YouTube. Here's what a typical schedule looks like. This is, like I said, we're starting a new season in October. There's no time limit on this. You can join at any time, but you might want to get in on it if you're thinking about it now while we're about to start this new season of the blues. But here's like a typical week. So we have 4 live classes a day, an 11 a.m. Eastern track, a 1 p.m. Eastern track, a 3 p.m. Eastern, and then that 9 p.m. Eastern. We don't have 9 p.m. classes on the weekend because we're all musicians. We're all working on Friday and Saturday night, so nobody's around. But this is it's a phenomenal community. Hundreds and hundreds of musicians from all over the world are joining us on these live Zoom classes, and we're teaching them very similar things to what you see us teach here on our YouTube lives every week. So, and then we have live listening sessions. We've got a new member hang where we just hang and answer questions for new members. We've got student-led jam sessions, and every Friday we've got an all-community mentor session, usually with a superstar. We've had folks like, oh man, we've had incredible people. Mark Giuliano was with us at one point. Ron Carter has been with us on these mentor sessions. John Beasley is coming here in a couple weeks. Aaron Parks has been with us. Taylor Eichste. It's been incredible. Yeah, we're hearing here from some Open Studio folks. Colleen has been longtime Open Studio Pro member, one of our faves. And in there practicing every day. So that's what we're doing this live here today for, is we're announcing this new schedule and all of these incredible classes. And we're focusing on the blues here today. So again, you can go to the description and you can apply to become an Open Studio member. There is an application process just to make sure that it's the right fit for you and the right fit for us. So go apply today and go check out what all the hype is about. At least the hype that we're hyping today. Okay. That's our season's schedule. So let's talk about the blues. The blues it's a gift. The blues is a gift. I'll say it. It is a gift to all of us. It is something that is, for me, has been like a lifelong teacher about music, for sure, but also about people and and I'm already getting like kind of sappy and deep, and I apologize. But when I think about what the blues, this simple form, right? This seemingly very basic form that was created by some of the greatest musicians who ever lived, and given to us and passed along to us at our generation here as a gift. Like, I really truly believe that the blues is a gift. The entire form of music that is all about this combination of pain and joy and sorrow and laughter and the entire human experience that Black American musicians have wrapped up into this incredibly beautiful, simple form is really staggering. If you think about it in the history of art, there's nothing quite like it. In all of art that's ever been made, there's nothing quite like the blues in how incredibly simple, but how incredibly deep it is. And like I said, it's a gift to all of us. We have been given this gift in our lifetimes, and I know, as I'm saying, I'm like, all right. But I do honestly have so much love and appreciation and gratitude for this form of music, because it's taught me so many lessons in my life and in music over the years. And even if you don't want to play a straight ahead blues in your own music, which is fine, that's an incredible artistic choice that you can make as well. But even if that's not your bag, knowing about this and how it works and the mechanics of it and how it connects music and all the things we think about with harmony and theory and melody into this incredible, sophisticated conduit of human emotion is pretty staggering. And it starts very, very simply. It starts with just 3 chords. Here's our basic blues. This is the first thing anybody ever teaches you when you learn about this beautiful form. Now, a couple things to notice here is that it's in 12 bars. So it's a 12-bar form, which is already a little bit out of the box of what you might think of, because 12 bars, while it is an even number, it's got an odd number of sections. It happens in 3 4-bar sections, right? So that's really what we're going to do, is break it down to these 3 4-bar sections. Here we're going to do the key of F for this entire session. And the first 4 bars is nothing but an F dominant chord. It doesn't, by the way, it doesn't have to be an F dominant chord. It could be an F major chord, and in fact, that's what it started out as. In the beginning of the blues, it was just F, right? And the dominant comes a little bit later, and especially now for straight ahead stuff, it's pretty much the standard, but that's not always what it has to be or what it has been. It could also be minor. You could do a minor version of the blues as well. But the blues, as we know, already contains minor within the major. So the standard first chord here is an F7 for 4 bars. Right? And then we're going to go to the 4 chord, a B flat, and also a dominant 7 for 2 bars. And then we're going to go back to the F7 for another 2 bars. So that second middle section there, that's a whole 4-bar section. There's 2 chords, but it breaks up to this B flat 7 and then back to our F7. And then the last 4 bars takes us out to the 5 chord, and then for 2 bars, and then back to the 1 chord. And there's a million years of nuance in all of this. This is really just a very simple sketch to display, just so we're all on the same page about what we're talking about. And then there are themes here that are happening within this form. The basic themes that happen is that the first 2 sections, right? So the first 4-bar section and the second 4-bar section here are stating a theme and then restating the theme. So it could be something as simple as, and that's your theme for the first 4 bars. It's very basic here. And then the 4 chord, we restate the theme, right? I'm going to change some things. Doing the same thing for this. Now, oftentimes, the way the last 4 bars way the last 4 bars works, is that this is what you might call, you know, the response to the call. Those first 8 bars are the call, and the response is. And then you're back to the 1 chord, but that last 4 bars is usually used as some kind of way to create the tension and then resolve it. So you're stating the theme in the first 4 bars, you're restating in the second, and then you're going away from that theme in the last 4 bars. Now, this is helpful to know, actually. As we are improvising our solo, using the blues form to help us solo is an incredible opportunity for us not to use our stupid brains to try to come up with something slick. That's death, is trying to be clever. Use what this form, like I said, this form is a gift. Use what it gives us. When you're soloing, when you're improvising, even when you're accompanying someone, use that. You can use that basic form. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to be handcuffed to that and that has to be everything, and you always have to do that. But it's just an easy way to get into the pocket of this beautiful form. So this is our basic version. I want to just try playing it. Let's see here. We've got our handy dandy metronome. Let's see what we got. We're going to do a medium swing feel with brushes. All right. And the metronome's not working. We don't need... Oh, wait a second. There it was. We got it. Okay. We're at 116 beats per minute. We're going to take it nice and easy here. So let's just try playing this basic blues form. I'm going to walk a bass line. I want you to play however it is. If you want to just play some chords, if you want to play a solo, I want you to just really experience the form. For me, I would just play chords. Like 1, 2, 3, 4. Chords are the easiest way to get to know the form. So whatever you play for an F7. By the way, this is how Peter Martin practices chords as well. And tunes. He'll play chords through the form. That's all we're starting with, just this. Play with me now. Here's the 4 chord. C7, F7. Try it again. B flat 7, F7, C. One more time here on the basic. That's the basic form. Again, just taking some simple chords and going through it is the way to get this form under our fingers. So that's where we start. And that is the simplest version. And actually, there's even simpler versions. There are 8-bar blues. There are 16-bar blues. It's not just this big monolith. But most jazz musicians at this stage in the music, if you were to go to your local jam session tonight and you were to call an F blues, unless it was a very specific kind of blues, this is what you would hear most of the musicians playing, some version of this, and maybe a couple of the others that we'll show you in a minute here. But this straight ahead blues is sort of the standard form that we all play as we're kind of like handshaking and getting to know each other, right? So you got your 1 chord, and then in bar 2, you have this incredible, this movement. We go to the 4, and we go to the sharp 4 diminished, that B diminished 7, and then to an F over C. So this gives us this like, it gives us this incredible bass movement. You can think about putting an A there on bar 1, beat 3. Right, so you've heard this a million times, right? That's the first 4 bars on what we're going to call the straight ahead blues. And then we're hitting that F7 over C. This is crucial. Sometimes when you see charts of this form, you might see just F7. But obviously, if we're going from B flat 7 to B diminished, you want to resolve that F to the F over C. You want to get that chromatic movement up there. And then you can go down to that F as we hit the 4 chord. Then we're going to hit the 4 chord for a bar and a half. And then we go back to that B diminished 7. That sharp 4 or flat 5 diminished 7, that B diminished 7, right, that's a tritone away from our root F, is so important. Again, especially getting us to our F over C, which it does again here in bar 7, F7 over C. Then we're going to do an A minor 7 to a D7 to a G minor 7. So that A minor 7, D7, we're going to put a pin in that. Let's look at the last 4 bars. So remember, we did have C7 for 2 bars, right? And then back to F. In the straight ahead version, instead of just the 5 chord, we usually put a 2 or a G minor 7, the 2 chord, before the 5 to the F. Now the 2 chord, I want you to realize, is part of the 5. It's like we're sussing the 5. We're really subbing the 5 for just a second. Because if we look at a C7 chord, right, if I were to do a C7 sus 4, where I were to move the E up to an F, right? It has a lot in common with a G minor 7. If I were now to move the C to a G minor, that's a G minor 7, right? So this is where this movement, this 2-5 movement comes from. The 2 is just the 5, as Barry Harris loved to say. And then we're here in our F7, a little 1, 6, 2, 5, all dominant chords. All dominant chords on that little turnaround. Let's get back here to our A minor 7, D7, right? That's the 8th bar here. The second stanza, the last bar. So what this is, because we now have this G minor 7, this 2 chord on bar 9, we're going to do what we call a secondary 2-5 to bar 9. This is a beautiful little turn where we're just briefly, we're tonicizing that G minor so that it feels more important than it is. This whole form, as soon as we play it, you're going to be like, ah, yeah, these are the changes I hear jazz musicians play all the time. Let's try it. I'm going to play the chords with you at first so you can hear how this sounds. Ready? 1, 2, 3, and... Try it again. How good is that? Try it a few more times. I got the bass line. right? So here's what I'm saying with the blues is like, we already have this incredible lesson in this form, this lesson of tension and release, of building these things up. It's just not something to be taken lightly. It just means so much. We're not even dealing with like the harmonic or the melodic aspect. We're not even dealing with like the emotional stuff yet. This is just all the math of it, which is genius. So let's look here at our next example. Very similar to the straight ahead, but now we're gonna, like, maybe you don't want to sound so basic. Maybe you don't want to sound like you just got, you know, a blue jeans and white t-shirt on. Maybe you want to put a little suit on. Maybe you want to put something special on. Maybe some funky sunglasses. Maybe some going out white jeans. You don't know. You don't know what you want to wear here, but it's going to be spicy. And that's what this tritone sub blues is. It's very, very similar to our straight ahead blues. And in fact, it starts exactly the same way. We've got the 1 for a bar, then we've got the B flat 7, the B diminished. The first 3 bars are exactly the same. But what we're going to do here is start adding tritone substitutions and tritone 2/5s. And that's what happens in bar 4. F minor 7, B7, B flat 7. What? Well, so we know that our F7 is a dominant chord of B flat, right? It's a 4th below, 5th above, and it leads beautifully into B flat. Well, this F7 chord, it shares a 3rd and a 7th with B dominant 7, which leads beautifully to B flat. It's just a half step above our B flat 7. And what we've done here is, because you can remember the 2 is just the 5. Remember how we talked about that on the C7, that G minor 7? It's just an extension of the 2. It's like a sussing out of the 2. Same thing here, this B7, the F sharp minor 7, is just a sussing out of the B flat or the B7, excuse me, to the B flat 7. So it's a beautiful way to add this like roller coaster effect of, whoa, what is happening here? And you can just play it straight down the middle. This is borrowed from the key of E major. You don't have to get fancy with extensions or any weird stuff because it is already a little bit weird. So then we're in our B flat 7 for a bar and a half. And instead of doing our B diminished 7, we're going to do a backdoor dominant to our F7, the E flat 7. It's borrowed from the key of F minor. It's a beautiful chord. And you can even come up chromatically. E flat E to F if you'd like. And then we're going to do a little cycle here. We're going to do a B flat 7 and do some descending dominants, starting on that 4. B flat 7, A7. I'm going to put that flat 9 in there. A flat 7 to, instead of a G minor, a G dominant 7, right? So this whole, I've got a B flat on top of this chord to give it some cohesion, starting on the B flat. A with the flat 9, B flat on top, A flat. You could even keep it on the G7 and do like a sharp 9. We get to our turnaround, the last 4 bars. We got G7, D flat 7, C7, G flat 7, F7. This is again a series of tritone substitutions. G7 and D flat 7, they share the 3rd and the 7th, F and B. Right? That's the dominant 7 of G and the 3rd, B. That's also the 3rd of D flat and the dominant 7, C flat. Again, C7 is E and B flat. That's the 3rd and the 7th. Well, that's also the 7th and 3rd of G flat. So you get to, you don't really have to change much. You can do just, you can do dominant scales around there, or you can simply just play one of them and let the bass player do the work. And then on our final turnaround, again, another descending. I might keep an A flat on top and do like a G7 flat 9. So we've got our A flat 7, G7. I'm going to put a flat 9 on there, and G flat 7. Similar thing that happens. And we're back to F7. This is a classic. If you look at my voicings here on the A flat 7, right, I'm doing A flat and G flat in my left hand, and then C, F, and A flat in my right. Right, so root 7, 3, that 13, and the root on top. Now to do this progression, and this is super common, we're going to keep the A flat the same over the G7, move everything down a half step. So this is now like a flat 9. For the G flat 7, we keep the A flat on top and we move everything down another half step. So Now this is like a G flat with a 13 and a 9, natural 9. So, and then move it all down a half step. So that last 4 bars. How many times have you heard that? Check it out. 1, 2, 3, and. Very similar to what we had. How great is that? Right? Try it again. Come to the jam session with this one, you're going to sound like you know what you're doing. You're going to get some stank faces. Now you don't have to tell your bass player that you're doing any of these. In fact, a good bass player will be able to react to these on their own. Or not react, and that tension is part of the fun. So that is our straight ahead blues, but with the tritone sub. Again, real quickly here, there's a PDF of all this too. So if you want to take home these examples, that's in the description. Please don't hesitate to do that because it does make your life a little bit easier. But again, just that F7 on the second stanza, the last 2 bars, the B flat 7, again, it's the same thing I did on the end, right? So on my B flat 7 chord, I've got B flat and A flat in my left hand, D, G, and B flat in my right. I'm going to keep the top note the same. I'm going to move everything else down a half step. Now I've got A with a 13 and a natural 9, or sorry, a flat 9, B flat. I'm going to do it again. B flat stays the same, everything else goes down a half step. Now I've got A flat 7, the 13 and the natural 9. And then we can take that all down a half step to G7. So again. I mean, you gotta try it. You gotta try it. It's really fun. The next example is a little less common, but is crucial to know. This is what we call the bird blues. This is typically part of the tune Blues for Alice, and it's a little bit different. We start with this major 7 or just F major. Now this is one of the hippest blues that there is. As a bar of F major, and the first 4 bars, we go in that second bar down to E minor 7, A7, D minor 7, D flat 7, that's on the record, C minor 7, and F7. So it's these series of 2 5s with, we got 1 tritone substitution. That D flat 7 is a tritone substitution of G7. But you're taking that all the way to B flat. So it makes for this incredible cycle. Where you can just work down these 2 5 1s, and then it does it again, but it does it even in a cooler way. In the B flat 7, it's a similar thing to the back door. B flat minor 7, E flat 7, down in half steps. A minor 7, D7, A flat minor, D flat 7. Tritone sub to G minor 7, 2 5, and then back to 6, 2 5. This is one of my favorite forms to play. Enough screwing. Give it a go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. C minor 7, F7. Here's the 4 chords. B flat. Down in half step. A flat minor 7. Last 4 bars. E minor 7. Try it again. You got it. Try it again. Is the Bird Blues. Do not sleep on that. Blues for Alice, one of the all-time great Charlie Parker tunes, and it's standard that you know it. Now the last one is tons of fun. The last one looks more like the first one than any other. This is more of a modern sound, more of an angular sound. We'll call this the Sus Blues number 5. And this is something that you might hear Chick Corea play on The Matrix. It's got a very McCoy Tyner kind of vibe. It's all sus chords. So what do we mean by a sus chord? Our F7 chord, instead of having an A in the chord, we're going to put that up to a B flat, like a sus 4. So you can do all of these fourth voicings. That doesn't mean that you can't have an A in the chord as well, but the B flat is key in there, right? And we're going to do a tritone sub to the 4, B7 sus to our B flat 7. We're going to do a backdoor E flat 7 sus to an F7. You could also do an F7 sus here as well. A tritone sub to the 2 chord, A flat 7 sus, even though it's not the same tritone. You get what I'm saying. It's that half step slide. This could be G7 sus, but we'll do a G7. And then we'll do a tritone sub for C7, G flat 7. This gets us like this. Kind of feeling of this slick, like, woo, we're skating over ice. Let's try this one. This is a fun one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just getting the 4. That's 7 steps. You could also think about this as like a polychord. Here's our G7. G flat 7. Like you can think about this as C minor 7 over F. That also works, or E flat major 7 over F. sus blues. It's a little sus. It's a little sus. Sorry about that. So that's it. Those are our 5 different kinds of conventions of a basic form of jazz blues, really. It's a form of blues that we play in jazz. It's not like the blues genre, which is very much its own thing and a continuation of a different branch of the tree. But this is pretty standard. You go to a jazz jam session, you kind of have to know all of these at some point. These are essential. Again, don't forget to download that PDF. And don't forget about our seasons. We have got fall 2024 coming straight at you. Where's that at? Here it is. We're so thrilled to introduce our fall 24. We're dealing with the blues. Again, we're going to be dealing with 6 tunes, Bags Groove, Burke's Works, Tenor Madness, Blues for Alice Bird, like Footprints. That starts on Monday. You don't have to be in there by Monday. It's open time frame, but you do have to apply to get in. So click the link in the description to check out our Open Studio Pro Seasons Fall 24 The Blues and put your application in today. And I will be taking some comments here. Let's see what we got. Brian says it may be sus, but it's definitely not suspect. It's so true. Juan, it's Blues Quarter. It's 3 months of the blues. It's October, November, December. Juan Diaz is one of our illustrious Open Studio Pro stalwarts and a very fine keys player in his own right. Danny, I'm sure there's tons of books. We do courses here. We do video courses here at Open Studio, so you can become an Open Studio member and check those out as well. I'm going to see if I can find any questions here. Kind of ignored the chat during this live. I think we got it. Oh, good, Wendy. Good to hear. Never hurts. I mean, this is why we chose the blues as our very first topic for our very first season here for fall 2024. October, November, we're going to be working on the blues because it's foundational to pretty much whatever era you're in. If you want to be a jazz pianist, you got to start here. You just do. We're going to be doing other big, broad tent stuff in the winter and the spring and the summer. So interesting you should mention this, Blaze, because we just booked young Royce Martin, who is a ragtime and stride extraordinaire. And he's going to be doing a Monday class at 11 a.m. starting in October, all on stride piano and the blues, which is something I'm not an expert on, but something Royce very much is an expert on. Ben says, any advice for moving away from block voicings? Yeah, you know, the best way to do this, Ben, is to make sure that you get some different intervals into your voicings. And the easiest way is really to do like a root shell pretty. Do you know what root shell pretty is? It's where you take, if you have like this B flat 7 chord, you got the root, B flat, and then you're going to do the shell, which is the 3rd and the 7th, 3rd, 7. And then you can add some pretty notes like the 9 and the 5. And now you've got this beautiful, not a stack of thirds. There are thirds in here. There's a 3rd there, and there's a 3rd there. But there's also a tritone and a 4th. Or let's look at another version of this. If we wanted to do the root and the shell, but with the 7th on the bottom, root, 7th, 3rd, let's add some pretty notes. How about the 13? Or the 9 and the 9? So now we've got a 7th, we've got a tritone, we've got a perfect 4th and a perfect 4th. Not a stack of 4ths. So root shell pretty is the first thing you can do to really get out of the sort of blocks of, because you're talking about that, you know. That's how you get out of that. Vladimir says, I'm doing the magic voicing system. Something sus there for sure. Yeah, Royce, I'm happy to announce this. Royce is going to start. I think actually he's going to do 3 p.m. He'll be 3 p.m. on Mondays for in the month of October for Stride Piano, which is exciting. Barry Webster says, any tune where we can hear the sus one different to Matrix. So pretty much like anything McCoy has done on the blues, like Blues on the Corner. Barry is a good one. Or even like Passion Dance, which isn't a blues, but it's a similar vibe from that Matrix thing. And then just a lot of modern players. I feel like Brad Meldo had a blues in F, but I could be wrong about that. But McCoy is the godfather of all of that. Yeah, Daryl. So we're talking about that. So the classic one is Chick Corea on an album called Now He Sings, Now He Sobs. It's a tune called Matrix, and it sounds like this. This is a blues, F blues. Chord, 1 chord, right? 2, 5, 1. Back to the So it's got this angular thing happening. I can get stuck listening to that for like 9 minutes. So. Vertigo, Paul says, after a while, do you stop thinking about the chords and it's just muscle memory? Or are you always aware of the chords? It's less about chords, Vertigo, and more about colors. So like after a while, you're not thinking about B diminished 7 to F over. It's just this system that develops where you're painting with shades of color. And you're not even thinking about the nuts and bolts of it. You just have done it so much and you've worked on the nuts and bolts. You understand it maybe, or maybe you don't. You don't even have to understand anything. The concept is not important, actually. It's the doing that's important, understanding the sound. And if you understand the sounds and how they go together and how they work, you just start painting with the sound. And that's another level. In fact, when I'm demonstrating this kind of stuff, it's actually pretty challenging because I'm in sort of like explaining the information mode, you know what I mean? And if I try to play in information mode, it sucks. It sounds terrible. And I always have to catch myself and be like, stop playing the information and just play for these people and they'll get it. But it takes like, it's not the same part of your brain, I think, that is like cataloging the information, going over it, which can be helpful because then you can like recreate it and practice it. But it's a different part of your brain when you're actually just letting go of it all and letting whatever happens, knowing that you have all of these colors available on your little, again, we're stretching this painting metaphor out, but on your color palette, and you can do them all over the place. Could I participate at Open Studio Pro if I live in France? We have several European members. In fact, I would say 40% of our Open Studio Pro membership is in Europe. There you go. Coltrane Plays the Blues. Great call. Great call. Ohio says, any ideas on how to replicate on the piano that feeling of crying, that crying feel of a guitar bending just under the note, like in Stevie Ray Vaughan? We can't replicate that exactly, especially on the level of like a Stevie Ray Vaughan, or even on the level of like a great vocalist or violinist, like much less one of the greatest guitar players who ever lived. But you can crunch up. So here's my. So I'm going up to this C, right? I'm just going to swipe up here from the A chromatically. Do it as slow or as fast as I want. You can even do this 2 hands. It sounds really crappy on this keyboard, but on a nice grand piano, you can get that feeling of, but bending is tough. You can do double stop bendings, which help. So here I've got B flat and E flat, and I'm gonna bend up to that B natural or F on top. That can help. Putting a note on top can be helpful, but we can't really get there like they can get there. Gilbin David says, how to integrate sus chord arpeggios in solo playing. Do you have some favorite chords to play over them if you use them? I'm not really sure if I do like arpeggios. I mean, you can do fourths. Give you the F7. That'll work. F, like a fourths arpeggio. F, B flat, E flat, F. You can do that. Or you can do this shape, F, B flat, C, E flat. That'll also work. Yeah, Failing says for the bending, you could also use the pitch shifter. You could do that for sure. But why would you? Sounds great. All right, y'all. That's it for me. Thank you so much. This was super fun. Super fun to do. A rare Friday live here. We're so excited to introduce Open Studio Pro Seasons. Click the link below to apply now for Seasons and for Open Studio Pro. Again, just a reminder of what that looks like. It is four Zoom classes every day, Monday through Saturday, 3 on Friday and Saturday. But 11 a.m. Eastern, 1 p.m., 3 p.m. Eastern. Come join us. There's teachers like myself, like Josh Walsh, another fantastic YouTuber, Chris Parks, another great bebop aficionado, Jeremy Siskin, literally wrote the book on jazz piano for beginners, Bob DeBoo, Kaylee O'Doherty, Peter Martin teaches every Wednesday. We've got a trio guided practice session. We've got incredible South African pianist Tembi Danjana is teaching some classes with us now. So come join us. Awesome. Cheers, everybody. Have a great rest of your day. Later.